Hello. Volume is working. Been a little bit since I've streamed. How long has it been? Yeah, a week. Past week has been weird. I did like another all-nighter, which was bad. Although I had fun playing some Dark Souls 3 with my brother. And then so after that, I decided to finally try to fix my sleep schedule, and that's been going decent. I'm waking up in the morning again. uh, and then, yeah, I just kind of haven't. I guess I've sort of prioritized that. Also, I've been a bit unsatisfied with the name Red Yoshi Craft as like a creator name. I still like it, at least for now, as like more of a background thing, like my Minecraft username. Um, Maybe the technical username for some accounts that will allow both. But for the front-facing name, I finally thought of something that I think I'm liking, which partly because it's kind of up to interpretation, but I think I like the pronunciation Rosifia. It's basically Rose, which is my name, plus Fia, which is my character's name, my like persona, if you will. Which is ideally what I would go for is the name Fia. But like it's hard when all the names are just taken. You know, you can't have duplicate names. So, and I really don't like when you have to sneak in numbers or other symbols to make it work. But I finally thought of this way of like kind of combining them, and I think it kind of works. Rosifia. It's also Fia means like, I think like in Italian it means like flickering flame, something to that degree. So it's kind of like a fiery rose, and I do like that. Well, gonna play some more Minecraft. Today I'm feeling I should try to make some more progress in the game. So I'm gonna try to make some more Eyes of Ender. Which of course includes getting ender pearls, which I have a few of those. I would ideally need a bunch more. I don't know if I found a warped forest. Yeah, that's definitely like the best way. And then blaze powder. I need to find blaze powder, and that has been a struggle, or It was a struggle when I went to the Nether Fortress. Here's my resource packs, and I am missing one because I've made changes. Where was this? Was it just... that, maybe? Yeah, I finally released Shelved. That's another thing. Today was the 200th, my 200th day asking Mojang to let us, you know, place items on the bottom of shelves, let us switch the shelf between the states. And kind of ironically, you don't see that here, but that's because this resource pack doesn't do that. This just makes the items smaller, but it is related because this was another one of the changes I didn't like that they made from community feedback. People didn't like the small items, so they made them really big again, but that makes it so that they clip into the back of the shelf, and I think that's kind of ugly on some blocks. So this pack is like a compromise. They had 2x2 blocks in scale, or 2x2 pixel blocks in scale. So it fit like perfectly onto the shelf. It was flush with the back, flush with the front. It didn't hang over at all, which was nice, but I won't deny it was a bit small. And then they reverted back to the original 4x4 pixel scale. And then that hangs over a little bit and clips into the back. So this is a 3x3 scale. I might as well go into the game so I can show it off a bit better. 3x3 pixel scale. So it hangs off 1 pixel, but it is flush with the back, and it's mostly on the shelf. So I think, and it's still like a good scale, I think 3x3 is a really good compromise, honestly. And where's my brush? I think it's in my ender chest. Here is the data pack in use. You just brush your shelf a little, and you can switch it back and forth. So yeah, admittedly, I've been sitting on this pack for a little while. I've been using it in stream, but like I haven't made any changes. I just, as I've talked about before, I'm sometimes a little, I guess, lazy. It can be hard to get around to the picture stuff, but I finally went and did that, and so I made some icons, as you see here. I changed the name a little because the data pack and resource pack were both named fractures-shelved, and I didn't love that, so it's shelves display, which I guess this is a little too long, so the plus gets cut off on this one, but that's fine. The plus is just for the other fractures packs. Like this wall, if I is gonna interrupt the music, if I switch to the normal one, then the wall scale is fine, but why does that not look any different? Am I crazy? Do I need fence? Oh! Right. Yeah, change. So I guess it changes the inventory state completely. So it's even worse. It's not just the shelf that's affected. But yeah, switch back to this, and these are the way they should be in my pack again. So yeah, having two was just kind of my compromise for like, I have to, it's all like the same files that are changing the shelf displays. And so it was basically, well, it was either like you just have to deal with the vanilla inventory state when using the shelved pack, or the other way around, you have the structured version in vanilla with the shelved pack, even though the other blocks don't necessarily look like that. Or you just have two packs, and I think two packs is fine. And it applies to some more things. I think maybe these are included. But yeah, that was kind of a tangent. But yeah, finally released this pack to the public, which I'm happy about. Again, yeah, 200th day of asking for this feature in regular vanilla, and I wanted to release it sooner, but I got to the point of it being the 200 milestone, and I figured like it'd be a good time to finally get that released. So yeah. My skin is very slightly different yet again. I talked previously about the pants. I had some, oh yeah, I can do this. You can see my cursor. I had some pixels, like some darker pixels here that just, it felt a little wrong. I thought I liked it better, but in practice it felt a little wrong. I've also made some further changes to the overall leg shading, which is only seen on the pants with the two like kneecap shading pixels. Those are just swapped. But yeah. I'm probably to my detriment a bit of a perfectionist. So the way that I design skins can be painful at times. I'll probably never be fully satisfied. But, you know, I think I get closer every time I go back to it. And hopefully this time is like, it's like real good. Red Lobster Cheddar Bay Biscuit. That is your name and that is what you posted. Fair enough. Hello. I also changed the little message sound. I think that was rather nice. I might need to turn it up a bit because it's more subtle than the other one, than the default. Oh yeah. My little sorting buddies are all freezing up down here. Only the best item at Red Lobster. I can't say I've had it, but sure. Fair enough. everything I wanted to enchant. I mean, like, I should be enchanting pretty much every chance I get. Also, can I combine these? I can! Wonderful. I'll definitely be wanting this armor. Let's see, crossbow is good. Pretty good. I think I can combine these. That's... How did... I guess I see how I managed that, but... Oh, no, give me... Yeah, I can get quick charge 3. That's all I get from that. Once again, I should wait until it's a lot lower on durability. Alright, I can add these two together. And these two. Yeah, okay. I'm remembering where everything was. So shovel and axe are like done. They're taken care of. Let's get another diamond hoe. I think this would be a good thing to enchant. And then... yeah, helmet and boots. I could try for the boots. I think I need to see feather falling if I'm gonna unenchant this, because like this is good. Like that is a good set of enchantments. I have protection 4. Oh. Okay, well. The hoe too is taken care of, it seems. So that'll get me efficiency 5 and unbreaking 3. I also need silk touch, but I suppose I can worry about that separately. Now, still no feather falling. I think respiration is better. You know, as far as just having one, obviously you want both, but... Depth Strider, that's actually pretty nice. Because now I don't have to worry about getting it on the boots. There's still probably a good chance that I will, but I don't have to worry about it. Speaking of, yeah, it's like I see that so much. Oh, there's the respiration. Okay, I think I'll unenchant the diamond helmet next then and reroll that. But that is a later issue. Let's see, how did I have all this stuff? So these are good books, kind of. That's like eh, but I have respiration on this. I should pay more attention to what I have. Soul Speed 3, that is a good one. Riptide is nice, but that one's kind of meh. That one's really kind of meh. Curse of Vanishing is less than ideal. I have this Efficiency 4 book, but at this rate, like, I don't really need it. I guess for my pickaxes, which those, I'm gonna need to do something about those. Put that lapis away. Okay. I need more bottles. Do I have? I certainly have the ingredients for bottles. I don't think I have any crafted anywhere. Do I? Surely they would be with the potions. I'm just gonna assume I don't. Secret water source. Okay. The glass away. Now, I don't know how you get fire resistance. It might be blaze powder, of which I do not have, but I'm gonna try magma cream, and it's probably not gonna work, but it's one of those two, I'm pretty sure. Well, one makes fire resistance, one makes strength, so oh, it is magma cream. Okay. I'm learning. Now I just need some redstone. Fire is of great concern in the Nether, as is natural. So I would like to be properly prepared. I'm not gonna need that. It don't do me any good. Oh. Thank you for the rabbit's foot. No, over here. Yeah. Yeah, I think... Oh, I need some more food. Which is great. Oops. Because I'm kind of very full on these things. But yeah, I really want to make like a automatic pie crafter. Because the eggs only stack to 16, so it's a bit awkward to make those for that reason alone. I could have an automatic pie crafter that funnels into a shelf. It's just like an auto-serving. Auto-serving pie dispenser. Wouldn't that be fun? I think I was watching BWO's new episode today. Here's the mine I built last time, by the way. I was watching BWO's new episode today, and seeing his path that he made, I feel that mine could be quite a lot larger, quite a lot wider in particular. So I might do that. Oh yeah, this is probably, these wheat fields are probably grown out pretty well by now. So I should get a look at that from a distance. Oh. And still need to properly texture this path. Because like you can definitely follow the formation of it, but it's a bit abstract and unclear since it all is just grass. I kind of like it. What it might need, and I don't know, I was struggling with the cutoff point. Like it feels kind of abrupt, and I don't know why it took me so long to think of this in particular, but it might just need like kind of a log frame / barrier. I think that would probably help quite a bit. But I kind of like that. It's not exactly the aesthetic I was going for. But it's not bad. It's all right. Okay, well. Here we go. I didn't bring gold. I'm gonna say that that's alright, honestly. Should I be attacked, I shall simply fight back. Let's dig that out a little more. Yeah, back to the Nether Fortress we go. It's been a little while. My first... It feels awkward saying it like this, because... Is there like a proper... Do I have a proper way up here? Oh, right here. Yeah. Yeah, they're finally fixing that in the next drop. I don't know how it will apply to adults like that. I assume it'll be the same thing, but Striders riding on top of another, at least the baby Striders, will inherit the warmth of the one they're riding, which is lovely. Sweeping edge? That could have done something to a group. Oh, I should have... You know what? No, I'm going back. I didn't upgrade my spear. I didn't add looting to my spear. I need to do that. Yes, what was I saying? I feel like it feels awkward to say my first time visiting the Nether. Oh, spear. Because technically... Technically I died a bunch, and so it was like... You know, my first few visits. But it was my first, like, series. It was my first series of visits to the Nether, so it was my first visit to the Nether, you know. I really don't need to overcomplicate it. Yeah, my first visit to the Nether, very productive. I found a bastion, which I did die a bunch and lost some gear, but I got basically everything you can hope to find at a bastion. I got the netherite upgrade template. I got the snout armor trim. I believe I got the snout banner pattern. Smaller thing, but still of note. Unrelated to the Bastion, but I also got Tears from Ghast. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, I basically got everything except for Pigstep, which is a big one to miss. It's a big one to not get, I suppose, to have not gotten. But certainly not as important as like the Netherite upgrade template. I also found some Netherite scraps. Specifically one Netherite scrap and one ancient debris. So yes, first visit to the Nether, very successful. Second visit to the Nether, I went in kind of the opposite direction and found the Nether fortress that I'm heading to. From which I found the rib, armor trim. I did not find a blaze spawner. I don't believe I've explored all of it, or I know I haven't explored all of it. I don't know how much is left to explore though. I'm glad this way is cheaper for enchanting this. I'm not sure why it's cheaper, to be honest, but oh, I guess obviously it's cheaper actually, because this way you're adding like all of this stuff to this one. But this way you're just adding sharpness. You are adding both sharpness 4 and looting. Both of those are getting used, but those are the only things being added. And it's getting repaired a little bit. Nice. Okay. It's only 4 to rename it. So hopefully adding mending won't be too much when I eventually do that. Oh. Rotten flesh. I suppose I will take it. But yeah, found another fortress, which in itself is pretty substantial. Yeah, again, I haven't found any blaze spawners yet, but I was able to kill a few blazes and get exactly one blaze rod. Which I was then, I went and found some villages and got a brewing stand from there. So I haven't actually crafted a brewing stand because I wanted to make potions for the potions of weakness. That was kind of the whole point I went to the Nether that day. And yeah, so I got a brewing stand from a village, was able to use that one blaze rod for the potions, and that was good. Yeah, I got the rib armor trim template, which was also lovely. I'm not really sure what else you really want from another fortress. I mean, wither skulls, of course. Wither skulls and a blaze spawner are like the only things I haven't really gotten. But I have looting now, so the chances of getting that have just gone up significantly. I was wondering where the ghast was. Hello, little pigling. Here we are. This thing is very close. Basalt pillar. Oh yeah, I do have a lodestone here. Oh, and that one blaze rod also, of course, allowed me to get an ender chest. I used one bit of blaze powder for the brewing stand fuel, and the other bit for an ender chest. Okay, there's a blaze. Gosh, it's so dark. Bit of trouble this is. I have knockback. But wasn't too much trouble there. And I now have 3 more blaze rods. That is fantastic. So that's 6 blaze powder. And there's the spawner. Okay, lovely. This was like the one place in the whole fortress that I didn't go to. Oh gosh. And I do have fire protection 4 on my helmet. So fire damage isn't too big of a concern. Admittedly, this closed space is not ideal for a spear. But it's not too bad. It's not too shabby. Hmm. 11. Oh, hello. Can I... I think these always... Yeah, I think these always spawn with these awkward little corners here. But that's fine. I'm very pleased to find that this stronghold does in fact contain a blaze spawner. Because I don't know if they're guaranteed. Ow. I don't know if they're guaranteed. I'm sure it's very likely that they will have one, at the very least. But, you know, maybe you can get unlucky. Ah, this spear is doing absolute work, though. The fire aspect is not. But otherwise... Oh, you know... I like the idea of having some kind of water enchantment, but genuinely, I kind of... Would that need to be mutually exclusive with sharpness? Just for the sake of, like, blazes? Is that important? You'd probably be one-shotting blazes regardless. So it might just not be important. But also, a water applying enchantment could pretty simply just be impaling the existing enchantment for the trident. Well, the funny thing with that, I want a water, like, applying enchantment for impaling. And so if it's just an innate part of impaling, that might be too strong. Looting 3 is so good. I've not had it this entire time, and I'm very excited to finally have it in my possession. I think I meant to put it against the wall there. Yeah, since I've gotten started talking about it, I suppose I may as well continue. So, in the combat test snapshot, the way impaling works is it does increase damage not to specifically like aquatic mobs, which I believe doesn't include drowned, which is like the main... It's like the main thing you would want it for, or one of the main things you would want it for. Like that's the way it currently works. It only damages aquatic mobs. And some of the definitions for those are just like a little silly. In the combat test snapshots, it just... Impaling does extra damage to anything that is like wet anything that is in the water, anything that's in the rain. And that is a much better way of doing it. So of course I want that to be fully implemented in the main game. But I think it would be cool if that didn't have to be exclusively when something is actually like in water. You know, if it was possible to apply like a wet status effect that you could then deal extra damage to opponents. And that could be as simple as like throwing a splash potion of water on someone. You know, they're just, it would need to be more of a status effect similar to being on fire, or you know, being cold when you're in powdered snow. Which I guess that's a thing in of itself, is they could have that frost effect like count towards something being wet, and thus have impaling do extra damage. I think that would be reasonable. Potentially. But yeah, so if, let's say impaling itself applied a water status effect, then the first hit on dry land when someone isn't wet at all would not deal any extra damage, but then they would be applied with wetness, and so subsequent attacks would continue to apply, like reapply the wetness and deal additional damage because they are wet. And so that could be an interesting thing where like there's still a slight advantage to them. There's still a slight benefit to them being wet more generally, but you do get benefit from subsequent hits. And it could be like a fairly... the effect could go away fairly quickly as well. So if you're not like... oh... that was an interesting sound. But yeah, so like if you're not attacking them like continuously, repeatedly, then the effect would go away and you would lose that advantage. So that could be interesting. Alternatively, to it just being an innate part of impaling, which I think might arguably be a bit overkill, because like it's almost taking away from the base effect, the base enchantment, because it is kind of just like giving you the benefit for free a little bit. Although I will say, in like hot environments like the Nether, you could argue that the effect would go away instantly. But the enchantment itself would still be, like, applying the wetness would still be very effective against things like blazes. But alternatively, you have it as its own separate enchantment. And in that case, I think it should, rather than being like a water enchantment, I think it should be a frost enchantment. So, you know, basically a frost aspect enchantment. And then, as I said before, have Impaling also do additional damage to entities that are affected with frost. And frost itself might need a bit of a rework for that to work, because currently it goes away very quickly. It goes away like basically immediately once you get out of powdered snow. Maybe they could just make kind of an alternate version of it that's longer lasting, which, to be fair, that's kind of a thing already with lava. You know, if you step in and out of fire, the fire goes away pretty quick. But you step in and out of lava and it'll stick around much longer. So you could just have like varying degrees of frost with a longer effect from the enchantment. Could even have levels. That is often a thing with enchantments. But yeah, and potentially have frost also apply slowness. Currently, when you're afflicted with frost, you are inherently You're inherently slow because you're in powdered snow, which is the thing that's causing the frost. But having some slowness, having a bit of a slowness effect to that, like regardless of being in powdered snow, I think would be nice. And maybe it could be kind of maybe it like wouldn't stack with the slowness of moving through a block in some, like if they could make that work. Because you don't need to be slower while you're in powdered snow. But having the effect slow you when you're not in powdered snow, I think would be could be an interesting thing. Like I do think a frost aspect that slows players a little bit, maybe does a little bit of frost damage, could be an interesting alternative to fire aspect. And then yeah, say you can add that to your trident, and then frosted enemies like count as being wet in a sense, and so impaling does more damage to it. But it is like an additional enchantment that you need. I think that would be cool. I don't know, you know, maybe I'm trying too hard to make the trident more of a proper weapon. Maybe it is fine as just the niche weapon that it is. But I do think it would be rather nice if it could be a bit more. Just spawn in, because I didn't see you before. Lots of fire. Okay. I think 2.5 stacks is a very good amount. I should be good. I should be good on blaze rods, blaze powder for a long while. Did I not go this way either? I may have just... There's another blaze spawner. Well, that's fantastic. Okay. Yeah, I just explored everywhere that there wasn't blaze spawners, basically. Good, good. I mean, it gave me something to discover on this day. So, there's merit to that, I suppose. The spear really is kind of like a mace. How very silly that is. Letter Rain is just so good. It's kind of unfair, to be honest. I don't have any coal blocks. Maybe in the ender chest? Okay. I have plenty in the ender chest. Good, good. Oh, that's an enchanted spear. I don't know what you have, but that is a little bit intimidating. Good for you. I timed that spear jab quite well. Oh, perfect. Tell you what, I haven't been particularly impressed with the overworld in this seed, this world seed. But the Nether has just been endlessly generous. It's just been endlessly abundant and generous. It's given me what I want time after time. I'm a little... What was that? I'm a little frightened of... attempting to fight Enderman. Did it die? No, it did not. But now it has died. If I'm smart, I should set up a little area to safely fight the Enderman where they can't get to me. But well, regardless of if I'm smart, I think it's a bit more interesting if they can get to me. I don't know. It's definitely more interesting. Oh gosh. Safe though it is not, there is more excitement involved. And my armor is quite good, so I think... Oh. I think there is not much to fear. Why didn't that hit you? Oh, little child. Oh gosh. Ooh. They're not doing a ton of damage, but it's like... it's enough that it can be scary. It's intimidating. There is reason for fear. But I think this has been going quite well for now. Why are there so many children? Hello. When did this turn into a daycare? Oh, look at all the striders. That is almost certainly enough ender pearls, but no reason I can't go for a few more. I have made one angry at me, intentionally. Where is it? Did it just decide it doesn't care? Well, I'm gonna fight this one then. That was fine. Yeah, I think the one that I looked at finally caught up. Or it was just a random Enderman that I was afraid was that one and just attacked. Spear. Oh. They both have spears. Hello? Why do they sometimes just, like, decide never mind? Was it like somehow teleported into lava by accident? That seems unlikely, but I suppose you never know. Oh, well, hello. Another enchanted crossbow. Child. That Enderman is still just gone. I think at this rate it probably won't return. But see, that's the worrying part, is that I don't know that. It may yet decide to just show up at a very inopportune moment. What happened with this? It's so very strange. They really made these trees quite a pain to collect. Because the warped wart does not dissipate. At the very least, I'm pretty sure you can compost it. So it has some use aside from building. But yeah, I already have basically a stack and barely a quarter one of the stem. I don't know if I have any interest in building with warped wart. But, you know, it's good to have some. Okay, any more Endermen wanna say hi? Such as you. Oh. Oh. Oh, I dealt quite good damage to it and it teleported away to I don't know where. So it quite possibly is dead. That is probably the biggest downside of using Fire Aspect against Endermen. Use the hull for the Shroomlight, which feels so strange to me. Just by the sound, it sounds like you would use an axe. I mean, I guess, I don't know if that's true, actually. Maybe the sound is more indicative of it being perhaps hollow and lighter. But it looks like it should use an axe, I think. Like it's more, I don't know, fibrous, perhaps. Those are quite the ambient sounds. Very peaceful biome though. all things considered. So twisting vines, for one thing, I think these are just a nice block to have for getting around places, because you can place it and just, you know, grow it up a bunch with some bone meal and very easily climb up spaces that way. And you can just break it from the bottom, get a few back. But also, it is one of the probably better options in the Nether for clutching. You do need shears to guarantee that it drops. Actually, I wonder if punching it will ever drop it. Or if it's only when they break from above that there's a chance. That would be interesting. Nice. Did I hit another one? Why did I hear the sound of an Enderman being hurt? / burned? After killing that one? I'm confused. Now, I don't know that I've ever spent much time in this biome. But it definitely feels like a horror type biome. That up quite substantially again. Okay, 3 ender pearls from that. Wow. Yeah, I will call that good. Good. Here, I don't know. Oh, gosh. Yeah, like I don't remember that sound. I know they added some new like cave sounds in a recent drop. I wonder if some of them were actually for other places like the Nether. That would be really interesting. Like it makes you feel like you're being targeted by an Enderman. Oh, it's nerve-wracking. Oh, right. Of course my fire aspect does absolutely nothing against these. Good amount of magma cream. Oh, hello. Well, I would say this was yet another very successful trip to the Nether. Getting looting on my spear beforehand was definitely the right call. Got a ton of blaze rods, a bunch of ender pearls, even some magma cream. I will not be going to the end today. It's interesting. I haven't had skeletons spawn there before today. But now both times on my way back, there were some skeletons there to greet me. Hehe. But yeah, I think I was feeling originally that I should take my time more and spend some more time before going to the end and getting the elytra, but I think I've done a decent bit. It's been a good while, and oh. I don't know. I think game's being laggy again today. Thankfully not too much in the Nether. That could have proved rather disastrous. Really. Now who trampled one of my who was stomping their feet in my pumpkin patch? Ah. Yeah, I definitely want to make this path wider. Oh, it is lagging bad. Oh my gosh. Hello? it just because I'm loading in chunks or something? I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that'll help at all. Seemingly it did. Yeah, what was I saying? The end. I wanted to take my time getting to the end. But yeah, I feel like gameplay has maybe started to feel like a bit of a slog. I just think I think it might be about time for some more progression, some more substantial progression. You know, maybe I can see this copper elytra after all before the next drop. I might just go and do that. Nope. Is this really all of the obsidian that I have? Evidently, I didn't mine very much. Well, I suppose I can get some more ender chests another time. Oh yeah, shulker boxes as well would be so nice to have. It would basically allow me to live out of my ender chest. I mean, that's a lot of storage. It doesn't cover bulk storage, of course. Like most of the things that you generally need, you can just have on your person. Let's see. Let's chuck just one and just see where this takes us. You know what? I was trying to think where I could go to have like a good spot and hopefully have it not go into my house. Why not the rooftop? Okay. And it dropped. How kind. Well. How do direction sun rises in the south? Is that correct? That would be south to north. So east? No. Sunrise is in the east. So that's in the west. So that's north. Okay. Well, I was thinking sun rises in either the south or the east. So I lost the 50-50, but that's fine. I'll try to remember that. Anyways, northward we must go. I think I have been over that way, at least a little bit. Right, I need more shears. And people act like we don't have backpacks in this game. Gosh, you just don't know how to use it. People want backpacks, and they would probably fill them up like just the same way that they fill up their ender chest. And it would only marginally help, like they would just have an inventory full of messy backpacks and silly people. Have I been out this way? I don't actually know that I have. I've been out that way. I've been out that way. I guess I can use the direction, so that's north. I've been out west. Been out south. I've explored a bit east. I know there's some cold stuff out east. I believe I went, I think this is the way that I went, that I found some like jungle, or I saw jungle off in the distance. I didn't go quite out that way, but there was dark oak and a swamp. I need to go back to that swamp and see if I can find a villager. Mending would just be so lovely to have. Unfortunately, repairing is abysmal in this game, so mending is just a requirement. And I don't care what excuses Mojang have about items being impermanent or whatever. It's not fun gameplay, the current state of things. It's just not. Like, repairing is completely infeasible. It's... in, like, most cases, it is cheaper to repair your stuff with a tool than it is with the material itself, so material repairing is basically useless. It's a useless mechanic that exists for the sole purpose of annoying the player base. I don't mean to get all ornery, but please, please Mojang, do something about it. Let us repair our tools in a more natural way. But yeah, north. I don't know. I don't feel that I recognize it. Oh, I think there was another thing I wanted to do before going to the end. Or specifically before getting like too good of gear, which is a trial chamber. I wanted to tackle a trial chamber before having like totally overpowered gear. And I'm kind of already at that point. So I should definitely do that before I get netherite. But I was planning to do that. I was planning to go to the end before getting netherite regardless, so... yeah. They get themselves stuck like that, and it... The 2 copper golems are just face planting. I suppose there's another thing you could call that, but yeah, it looked very still. I thought for a moment that they'd all frozen, but no, they just keep getting stuck. Once these two have frozen, I'm gonna lower this down. I don't know how exactly I want to do that. I might like start from here, like around here, and lower it, you know, just, well, 1 block at a time, as is generally what you would do there. This, starting from here, which is the only place where there's actually 2 pillars that are lining up, that's more like where you would stop. That's not nearly enough room, so I think it does need to be here. So I guess let's say this is the ledge, so this level goes to here, and it drops 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. That's good. That's 4 more rows of double chests. This is already a lot of storage. Like, I have plenty more storage and it's not even... I haven't even filled in all the chests. That's another thing I should do soon. And another thing I will do once these lot have frozen in place. Yeah, I'll get all of the chests in place, and before setting up some proper organization golems, some proper copper golems, I'll make sure that, well, there basically needs to be no empty space, because they like to do this. They put items in the first available slot. And so it's a little weird the way that you kind of need to do it. You know, you put like you put all of the applicable items that you want in the chest. And yeah, like they'll only put items in the chest that are already in the chest. But because of the way that they sort it, which is great for redstone machines, I'm not complaining about that. It does just mean that you can't have empty space like this if you want it to stay nice and organized. You can also use some kind of filler block if you don't necessarily have enough of the blocks, enough of the items that you're putting in there to completely fill in the space. Like this is great. You know, maybe not everything that I would want in here, but... Oh, actually, there is one singular space. Yeah, I don't have melons. I might want to put other things in here, but all in all, this is pretty good. Wood is a whole thing I gotta figure out. Yeah, you just can't have empty space. That's all. How much gravel do I have? Not a ton, but decent amount. I mean, this is 4 stacks. Yeah, that's 4 stacks of coarse dirt. That's pretty good. Pretty good. And I don't think I'm gonna do pathwork right now, but just what's the best way of doing this? Can you not? Yeah, no, there's not. Not really any easy way. Getting a lot of mud. As far as efficiency goes, this isn't too bad. Okay. Got all that mud, and now it's just like is it just wheat? Yes. I mean, this is just... This is just an absolutely brilliant block right here. I don't know if I want to use it for path. Goes pretty well with the normal path. I'm probably, as I've mentioned before, probably not gonna have any... Yeah, I think these little bits have kind of bothered me. Eventually I'll properly like texture all of this in there. I don't think I'll have any of these like actual path blocks. I don't know if I'll use packed mud either. Maybe. Mainly coarse dirt and gravel. Oh. Oh. There we go. I think that should be exactly 64. Yeah. So yeah, need probably a bunch more packed mud still. I think I'll mix some coarse dirt in here, or honestly even just regular dirt. As long as there's no grass that can as long as there's no grass that's coming in contact with it. And that is of no consequence. Oh. Really? I'm sorry, sheep, but I think you might just live down there now. Oh, wait. That... Here, maybe just swap these. I think that's fine. Yeah, that dirt will eventually grow over, and then that would have spread to these. Ugh. Alright, let's take a look at the chicken pen. Oh yeah. That's some good eggage. Arguably too much eggage. I don't know what to do with all of those eggs. But I'm glad that I successfully I can have pumpkin pies as my food source. There's no worry of any shortage there. I wonder if there's anything I can do to help with those lag spikes. I don't know. I think that will be a good place to call it. Good progress today. Very successful trip into the Nether. Finally got a looting spear. That was of great success. And I have sharpness 5 now. I kind of overlooked that a little bit, but my spear has sharpness 5, which is also very, very nice. Yeah, I got blaze rods, Knives of Ender. So I'm prepared to go searching for the end. Exciting stuff. I don't know what I might do next time. I think I need to continue to take a break from the building and paths and whatnot. I might try to get a mending villager, specifically a swamp zombified villager that I can get mending from, because I have the villager trade experiments enabled. So, yeah. That's the only way that I can get those. Well, swamp villagers is the only way. You can bring villagers to a swamp, get them to have a baby, and then that will be a swamp villager. But the zombified villager is the more luck-based method, which feels more my thing. We'll see if it works out that well. Yeah, I can also, of course, while I'm over there, I can go to that jungle, get some jungle wood and some cocoa beans. I don't think I have cocoa beans. Yeah, I mean, regardless of if I do or not, I don't have... the thing you need to grow them. And I do have a compass that can... I have a lodestone compass that can guide me back there, so I don't quite remember which direction I went in, but I have that to guide me, so that's nice. Yeah, if I could, I might just go to one of the villages for this. If I could level up a cartographer, then again I should be able to go to a trial chamber. Yeah, that would be quite nice. That would be fun. Unfortunately, trial chambers are kind of obnoxious to try to find multiple. I think... I'm pretty sure the villagers work differently depending on the version. Where, like, I think Java Edition locks in... Java Edition cartographers lock in the closest structure, and they sell an Explorer map for that one permanently. Whereas Bedrock Edition will just... They will always sell a map to the closest one, I think. Which means, like, in terms of staying in the same place, it effectively means the same thing. But what it means is that you can take an existing villager, move it with, say, a Happy Ghast, and then get a map to a different one that's eventually closer. Like once you get to within range of a closer one. Which is definitely better. So if I'm correct about that, Bedrock Edition does have the better method that I wish they would apply to Java Edition as well. Because currently it's like you have to get an entirely new villager to find another one, and that's so obnoxious. It's like it's an underground structure that I'm inclined to agree with other people. They should have just let trial chambers be exposed. Because currently, like, if you're being vigilant and know what to look for, you don't even necessarily need to know what to look for, but like it's pretty obvious to spot the generation of it just being... It's just a box of stone, basically. Which is not that great looking. So they should have just let the structure be exposed, because that would be more interesting to look at, and it would be easier to find. And I think that's good. I don't have a problem with that. You know, I don't know if I'm always the most vigilant person. I maybe have seen some of those very box-shaped bits of stone, and just didn't register it. I don't know. But yeah, I'd like to go to a trial chamber. I'd like to go to an ancient city. That would be cool. I might try to do both of those before I go to the end. We'll see. So yeah, probably I'll do something along what I just mentioned the next time I play Minecraft. But the next time I stream, I really should I should play a different game. I should play some Hollow Knight or something. That would be good. As for Minecraft Live, because that should be this month, it has not yet been released, or not yet been announced. Obviously it hasn't been released. Has not yet been announced. I'm guessing that'll be next week. People are concerned about the timeline of things. I think some people say, like, just always assume it'll be as late as possible, which I won't deny that, like, it can kind of feel like that. Like, I don't know. But they've started announcing live a lot closer to it actually happening. You know, it used to be like they would announce it some month in advance or whatever because the mob vote, and now I feel like they could announce it like the same week if they really wanted to. It doesn't... like, they should hype it up. It is still supposed to be a big event, but well, so are Nintendo Directs, and those sometimes are announced like the day before, so you know, I would not be surprised if Minecraft Live is announced sometime next week for sometime the following week. And then, you know, the Tiny Takeover drop, that's the official name. That would release the following week, probably on the 24th. That all seems perfectly realistic to me. Yeah, I'm excited for Minecraft Live. I know some people are, well, not. The excitement for it has kind of waned as it's much more of an advertisement than it used to be. It's basically just a lot of commercials with a little bit of exciting news and dev commentary. Hopefully they can eventually shift things back more to what people like about live. We still haven't gotten anything to replace the mob votes or the votes. They suggested that there might be something to replace it, but we haven't heard anything of that. So that would be nice if we could have something with that. I'm happy the votes are gone. I think they were a bad idea, to be honest. I think just straight up they were a bad idea. Because, well, beyond the toxicity in the community, and that was a nightmare, it was legitimately, like, it was bad for the winner to win the vote. Because the ideas had to be undercooked. Like, inherently, they had to be undercooked so that you weren't losing much by your vote not winning. But that meant that the winner was also an undercooked feature, and it didn't have much time to grow into something more proper. So, like, the losers that we've since seen added to the game are, like, generally much more fleshed out than just about anything that actually won the votes. I think the biggest exception to that was it two things? Well, I think the biggest exception to that was mountains. Like, by far. Mountains were like the one vote win that was, like, legitimately one of the best things added to the game because of what it grew into and what it was able to grow into, because it didn't get added in the following update, which was the Nether update, which that update also benefited from not having a vote in it because it got to just be its own thing and have all the time dedicated to itself. There was another thing not good about the votes. They took away time from other features. So it was like, it was the best of both worlds. You got an update without a vote, and then you got an update that was half or more centered around the vote winner. So it like actually got the attention that it deserved. So that's all to say. Glad the votes are gone, but I do miss, like, I do kind of miss that sort of community involvement, and I think snapshots do a better job of that for gameplay, but not from community involvement per se. So, you know, I don't know what they could do, but if they could figure out some way of involving the community more substantially like that, without it impacting the gameplay's actual development, that would be lovely. But yeah, some people aren't too excited about live nowadays. I'm still excited because at the end of the day, we get to see what's coming next, even if it's only a glimpse, and I always enjoy that. We get to hear the devs talk about stuff. That's fun, even if it's a bit, like, commercialized, if you will. It's still fun, it's still nice, and we do get their little deep dive at the end where they do talk about it a little bit more seriously. I feel like people kind of overlooked that. I wish it got more time. I wish it got more time and it didn't need to be so gamified. But I think I called it the deep dive. It's the deep dig. But yeah, that is fun. We get a bit of a deeper look into the announced features. And it's the summer drop. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything big, but it has been 2 years since Tricky Trials, if that means anything. And the more that I think about it, Vibrant Visuals was like a huge initiative for the game. It's just like in the moment, it didn't register like that to me because I didn't think it was coming that year for either version. Honestly, I think they kind of, maybe intentionally, maybe they wanted to leave the door open for it not being that drop. But if the intention was for it to release in Chase the Skies on Bedrock Edition, then I feel like they kind of failed to market that properly because I didn't know. I did not know that was the intent. And then of course it's not on Java Edition. So that one, it has some complications that made me like take a while to like properly recognize it for what it was, but it was a major initiative that made that drop like very substantial. That made last year's summer drop, Chase the Skies, very substantial. And if you want to think about Tricky Trials as a drop, which I kind of do, like more and more, I think I really kind of do just think of it as a drop. It fits right in the drop cycle. You had Bats and Pots in the winter, Armored Paws in the spring, Tricky Trials in the summer, Bundles of Bravery in the fall, and then, you know, Garden Awakens in the winter, and so on. And just like the structure of it, like its singular focus on one edition, but it it also had arguably two major initiatives with ominous events, probably being the most obvious one, but also vaults. Huge deal. They haven't been implemented anywhere else yet, but I believe the intention is that they will be, at least to some extent. And so yeah, vaults and ominous events, which also kind of work in tandem with each other. Both like so massive. They also added like the crafter, a lot of cool stuff in that update / drop. Mojang don't refer to Tricky Trials as a drop, but I would say that's probably just, if nothing else, that's to like not set expectations too high. I don't know, like even if it's perfectly realistic to expect drops of that scale or maybe even bigger, like just publicly talking about Tricky Trials like it's a drop might cause some kind of issues with what people expect. So I don't know. But yeah, I like to think of it as a drop. And so yeah, if you do think of it as a drop, then that is 2 years in a row where the summer drop had one or more major initiatives. So where I was previously thinking that it would be like every other year we get a major release, it might be more like just every summer we get a major initiative. And maybe the exact scale of that initiative varies. Like vibrant visuals, massive thing, but doesn't technically affect like gameplay. So you know, maybe some years that major initiative is more cosmetic or some such thing, and other years maybe it's more gameplay oriented, like, well, Tricky Trials, like a structure or some such thing. I certainly know what I'm hoping for as far as major initiatives go. Combat. But yeah, I don't know. I think the summer drop has a lot of potential. I do worry that like I'm gonna be excited and enjoy it no matter what. Mojang does good work. Even if it's something smaller, like I will be happy. But I know a lot of people are justifying the current drop, the Tiny Takeover drop, by saying that it's a smaller drop, quote unquote, in preparation for a much larger summer drop. And I hope for Mojang's sake that is true. Because those people are going to be so very upset if it's not. Even though, again, I am not remotely upset with Tiny Takeover. I think it is phenomenal. I don't think it's small. I think it's large in a specific direction and area of the game that not everyone is going to get very excited about. And that's okay. But it is like it adds a lot. It's pretty substantial. But yeah, Summer Drop should, at the very least, it should be more gameplay oriented. I think that would just be healthy. I mean, you know, if it's like every other drop, like I think this is kind of the dynamic that they've had with the drops. Like, I mean, how far back do you go with it? I guess from the start, Bats and Pots as a winter drop, not really. Armored Paws in the spring, kind of more exploration based. There's definitely like a bit of gameplay with the Wolf Armor. Yeah, so I guess in this example, you would really start with Tricky Trials, again, if you want to count that. So Tricky Trials, very gameplay oriented drop in the summer. And then in the fall, you have Bundles of Bravery, where there's bundles. Bedrock Edition got hardcore mode, so that's definitely gameplay. The bundles, honestly, huge for gameplay, but it's still like kind of soft gameplay, if you will. It's not like adventurous, I guess. Again, hardcore, that's definitely big thing for like adventure slash combat slash whatever. But that was also only for Bedrock Edition, which didn't have it at the time. Then in the following winter, you have Garden Awakens. Definitely like more adventure gameplay oriented, new biome to go explore. Then you have Spring to Life. Adventure focused, but again, it's more atmospheric. I guess I'm kind of going back and forth on adventure, like being the heavier gameplay versus not, but hopefully you kind of get what I mean. I don't know exactly how to explain it. It's just like Tricky Trials, Garden Awakens is like more quote unquote gameplay. And then Bundles of Bravery, Spring to Life, it's a bit more subtle gameplay. More quality of life, more atmosphere. And then Chase the Skies. It's kind of still in that quality of life area. So that maybe breaks the pattern a little bit. There's the Happy Ghast, not really very like adventure-y feeling. You can technically go on adventures with it, but it's very slow. It's not meant for travel. It's a building tool. And also really good for transporting mobs. But again, that's like quality of life. More so. Vibrant visuals. Again, it's more atmospheric. So yeah, I do think Chase the Skies kind of breaks the pattern that I'm trying to suggest is potentially there. I'm trying to think if there's anything that does warrant it being a little more like adventure focused. I guess you might separate them by like adventure versus exploration. Like Spring to Life, very exploration, not so much adventure. Garden Awakens, very adventure, not really exploration, if that makes sense. Yeah, no, I do think Chase the Skies breaks that pattern, which maybe is warranted with it being, again, a major initiative towards the visuals of the game. But it does also add new music, and that's always fun. And then you have Copper Age. Again, it's more buildy focused, more quality of life with copper golems and shelves and stuff. And then back into the pattern, you have Mounts of Mayhem. Very combat and maybe adventure, but very combat heavy. Lots of new mob encounters with the spear, more mounted mobs. And then now we're heading into Tiny Takeover. Back to quality of life / atmosphere and whatnot. So the point is, there does seem to be a bit of a pattern for going back and forth between that like adventure versus more like adventure gameplay versus like softer gameplay, which is a good pattern. If I'm not crazy in thinking that that's like a thing, if that is like an intentional thing, I think that is smart. It's a smart way of doing things. You're going back and forth between like two fairly substantial groups of players, fairly encompassing groups of players, if you will. And also you're announcing the more like adventure gameplay stuff at Minecraft Live, whereas the softer gameplay stuff gets more of a soft announcement. Just kind of starts getting added in between, and then gets a proper showcase at the following live before releasing shortly after. And yeah, again, announcing the more like adventure gameplay drops at live. I think that's a good structure. So considering last year's summer drop, there's no guarantee, but I would say there is a good chance that at the very least the next drop will be more adventure-y. And we're due for some blocks, which doesn't necessarily lead into adventure, but it certainly could. It could mean new structures, new biomes. Right? We shall see. We shall see. Soon. I don't think there's any world that live isn't this month. Maybe some world. I mean, start of April isn't that crazy, but it's very soon, regardless. if it is in a month, at the start of next month, like that's fine as well. But I think it'll be like, theoretically, as soon as next week, like end of next week. That'd be kind of crazy. But I think like 2 weeks. I think that's likely. Anyways, I think that'll be the end of my yap session. I do kind of enjoy doing these. Definitely would like to get a better setup for it, so it's not just this static screen with nothing but my voice. But it's nice just yapping, not having any gameplay to distract me. Yeah, schedule's been kind of rough lately, but I will try to continue with the Monday, Thursday, Saturday. I'll try to be back on Monday. I think for the time being, probably not gonna try to go for any extra days like I was, because if anything, that just led to me streaming less. But maybe, if I'm ever feeling it, I might stream on like a Wednesday or something. It's sounding like the thing that my family was doing on Wednesday is now probably going to be on Tuesday. So Wednesday would then be the day that I'm more available. We'll see how that goes, I guess. But yeah, like Wednesday, Friday, Sunday are potential days. No guarantee. I doubt anyone's really like watching their calendars for me or anything, but I think it's kind of nice to just talk it through. Admittedly, this tends to be the only time I like really think about it very much. I guess I'm kind of out of sight, out of mind type person. But yeah, I'll try to be back before long and probably play something different. I don't know when Hytale's next update is gonna be. I don't think that's coming out next week. It might do. I haven't heard anything about that. Even if it did come out next week, I don't know if I would be wanting to jump on that just yet. But yeah, I'll be back on that probably at least once this month. But next should be Hollow Knight, or maybe even something else like Spelunky. It is funny though, I keep wanting to play Minecraft. I don't know what exactly I want to do in Minecraft, but I want to play Minecraft. Anyways, that will be all for today. I shall see you later. Farewell.